I'm gonna go ahead and keep it a buck and say that the Book of Boba Fett really made me not care about the character of Boba Fett like at all. It really killed that desire for me. I got to see things that I really wanted to see for Boba Fett, and I feel like that storyline is completely closed now. Like, there's no going back to it, at least in any sense that I would be excited for, because part of that season, the last season, is like a huge part is all Mandalorian stuff. It's stuff from Mandalorian season 2 that I really cared for. I really loved. One of the best episodes I've seen in all of Star Wars media is in the Book of Boba Fett. And so when you have half of your season, half of it being dedicated to a completely different character, and that character is so much better written, so much better than you in almost every way possible, well, in that case, honestly, you really have kind of shot your shot, and nobody cares about the Book of Boba Fett, in my opinion. Like, when it comes to Boba Fett character, I got to see him come out of the Sarlacc pit. That was cool. I always wanted to see that. I got to see him kill the Sarlacc with his ship. I got to see him gun down people with his ship. I got to see him that's basically it, honestly. Like, he rode the Rancor. That was cool. He got to play with the Rancor. That was also interesting. But besides that, I'm really not into Boba Fett, really. Honestly, he was less awesome in this season, the entirety of this season. He was less interesting than he was in the one episode in The Mandalorian, or the two or three episodes that he was in The Mandalorian. He's just not interesting at all. I feel like everything's closed on that part, and it's mainly because his character has been nice washed, I guess. He is a nice guy. He is not authoritative. He's not scary. He's not imposing. He is a weak leader. That's what the whole show showed you, that he is a weak leader. He constantly never listens to Fennec, who's actually giving him really sound advice. And he listens to everybody else and lets everybody walk all over him. The other gang lords of Tatooine who double cross him. You have the mods, which to me, I didn't think they were as bad as people said when it comes to their design or the way they look, but the mods double guessed him at the end in the last episode. He wants to go back to a more defensible place. He decides to stay in Mos Espa, I believe it is. He decides to stay there because they're like, we're not leaving. Like, he lets them get away with murder, and I don't understand why he does that when he could just be imposing. He's not imposing from the beginning. That's why he's got no control. And it's like the entire season he went doing it this way, the hard way, so at the end he can get some free melons from random people and they can say hi to him and be nice to him. Like, bro, you could be so much more what I thought Boba Fett was. And you don't need to be exactly like Jabba the Hutt. You need to be worse than Jabba the Hutt. You were the right-hand man of Darth fucking Vader, the only one that talked back to Darth Vader, and now you're telling me that you can't even talk back to the mods? It's just, that whole part to me kills the Boba Fett character when you try to make him nice. And when the Mandalorian's a lot more badass than Boba Fett, you have a serious problem. When the Boba Fett in the Mandalorian season 2 is more intense and badass than he is in the entirety of his own show, that is a huge problem. Basically, the worst parts of the Book of Boba Fett are all Boba Fett. Anything with that storyline is awful. And the last episode really didn't redeem it for me. It made it worse, honestly. It made those issues worse. It made the Mandalorian worse, honestly, because he's kind of like wrapped up into that story, and it's not an interesting story. Honestly, I would have rather had something else. But we do get the reunion of Grogu and the Mandalorian together, and even though it was kind of, that last episode was so goofy, and it was not scary or threatening or imposing at all, it was just goofy as all hell. Even though that's the case, even though that's what it was, I still liked every aspect of Grogu and the Mandalorian together. I loved the whole episode where the Mandalorian gets to do some Darksaber training and gets the Naboo Starfighter, because that's one of my favorite ships of all time. I love that kind of stuff. I love him meeting Luke Skywalker, and we get to see new CGI Luke with Ahsoka. That episode alone was one of the best things I ever seen in Star Wars. And in the last episode, there was a lot of goofy moments. The ending was so cute and so sweet with Grogu in the backseat, and he wants to go really fast. Like, it's just all really good stuff, honestly, when it comes to The Mandalorian Season 2.5 or the beginning of Season 3. Anything with Book of Boba Fett is just not interesting, and I'm hoping it's done, because this show made me not want a Season 2. I want to focus on Ahsoka. I don't mind if Boba Fett's in the background, maybe being like the leader of Tatooine, making it better, maybe, I don't know. But besides that, I really don't care about it. I want to see the future of Star Wars and Ahsoka. I want to see her journey to go find Ezra and Thrawn. I want to see all that. That's kind of like what I'm excited for. Next, we're going to get Obi-Wan. That's also going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to see it. But besides that, I would say that Book of Boba Fett is pretty low on my list of things that are exciting about Star Wars. It's not as bad as the sequels, not even close. It isn't as good as what I thought a Boba Fett revival show would be when he was coming to take over the entire planet of Tatooine as their lord of gangster shit. I thought that it would be a lot more gangster, and he ain't gangster at all. That's my verdict. Let me know what you guys think.